Alrighty. Hello and welcome once again to another episode of the Scrumcast over at Hand Cannon on Light. Oh my god. I haven't messed that up in a while.
I love
it. Wow, okay.
It's the way we roll, brother.
My brain just like stopped and my mouth kept going.
You just want to make sure there's stuff for Danny to edit.
Yeah.
Danny, since when did you start coming to these?
Oh, this is... I'm probably just lurking today, so
You're
only call me in if you need me. But yeah,
No, nope. You're required. You're required.
it just depends. They're gonna probably close shop here at work where I'm working literally right now. But
you look like it.
Yeah, clearly.
well, when my job is digitally sculpting stuff, it's on the computer, so.
All right, that's fair to middling.
Yeah, I got to bounce at 8, so I'll have to close down. If you guys are still going, then I'll have to just leave early.
So your office literally is a couch, because that's pretty.
It's pretty
awesome,
posh right there.
dude.
Well, they I don't know if you can see it, but we design couches.
Fancy.
So I am currently just chilling on the couch.
That's not uncool.
The couch you made?
Okay. Let's try this again.
No, this one.
Where I don't mess up.
Okay, this time without the oops.
Yes.
yes, not the oops.
I'm glad somebody got the movie reference. That makes me happy.
That's such a good movie. I love that movie.
Oh, crap.
All right, once again. Hello and welcome once again to another episode of the Scrumcast over at handcannononline.com, where it wouldn't be a Scrumcast if we didn't have a little bit of Dallas on the episode.
Hey!
Yeah. So we got him back finally, but not to be outdone, we have the rock of the podcast, Fraser, DeffHeadDice on all things social media.
Evening, folks.
Please,
And
here like that.
super special guest this week, our editor-in-chief, Daniel Nelson. Danny, welcome.
Hey, what's up? I so want to interrupt you so bad and be like, "Oh, that was
Thanks, Dan.
that was Independence Day." I was going to be like,
it was Independence Day, but
I wanted to interrupt him so bad. I was so tempted.
It was terrible. All right, well, we've got some super fun stuff to talk about this week, but let's get the bookkeeping out of the way. Take it away, Fraser.
So, Facebook, we finished off our first round of the logo contest voting, the fan favorite. So we will post the results, the top 5, plus the few that I missed in round 1. We'll make it on to round 2, and we'll have another week of voting on the Facebook page. I may actually throw a few of them on Twitter, because I've been ignoring Twitter for far too long. So make sure you like and follow us there, because stuff shows up on occasion. And other social media. So if you are watching this, or you're listening to this as a podcast, make sure a reminder you can listen. Now I'm messing up. If you are listening to this as a podcast, you can also watch it live on Twitch on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, and then whatever time zone you're in as well. So you can always join us in the chat and harass us and make fun of us when we make mistakes like I'm doing right now. And that is to do with the battle reporter. Always put your games in the battle reporter. The more data equals good. Apple version still coming along because
more data equals good.
Yeah. Apparently getting an Apple account is more challenging than we thought it was going to be. So
really difficult even just to get stuff on iTunes. It's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I didn't realize it's been this challenging. So everyone, we're working on it, and same with the tournament piece.
Everyone who uses an Apple product, just go buy an Android product. Problem solved.
Or a BlackBerry.
Because
that brand still exists?
It does in Waterloo, Ontario. I'll tell you that.
Wait, here I was feeling old until Fraser said that. And then
I haven't seen a BlackBerry in a freaking cell phone store in like probably 6 or 8 years here in the U.S. I sold cell phones for years, and they just like dropped out of the market.
Well, he is in Canada, so I guess.
Well, I'm in the town that made BlackBerries, so.
I would explain that.
I worked for them for like 5 years too, so.
Nice.
That's too bad.
Yeah. They made me the great man I am today. Well, that's not
true. All right. Well,
formative years there for you, Fraser.
So, the only other piece I'm going to jump in on the preamble is the Battle for Breath is coming close to occurring on Saturday, June 3rd at Black Knight Games in Hamilton, Ontario. That's Tim Banky's store. We're doing the food machine style rules tournament, raising funds for cystic fibrosis. We also this year are doing our raffle, and much like last year, the raffle can be entered anywhere in the world. You basically you donate to the Battle for Breath page on the Cystic Fibrosis Canada website. You get raffle tickets that then you can put towards some of the fantastic prizes. Now this year we don't have Rathrock. I apologize. It's as much as I'd like another Rathrock floating around that could be left on the roof of a car and flying into a parking lot. It's not necessarily the best choice. So this year we've got the Pillars of Halak. But we do have some troll themed items. So Aaron the Dream Maker, who made the Rathrock, also made, and if you're watching this on Twitch, you'll see it. He made this really cool Trollbloods barrel wall plaque, which is he basically cut a barrel in half and then burned the Trollbloods logo into it. And I'll put up on the Facebook page as well. We also have a guest appearance on the TrollbloodScrum. So if you enter the raffle, you can actually win a chance to join us here. An excellent use of all your raffle tickets, I would say. Probably the best prize. There are a few other podcasters that are taking place. So there's also Painting with Menoth John. There's the Beer Machine guys, as well as this Death Clock Has 60 Minutes, the excellent podcast from the guys down in the Ottawa area that promote the heck out of our stuff for us because they're our entry show. So our lead-in show, I guess is the word.
They're scholars and gentlemen. Is what
Absolutely.
That is. Scholars and gentlemen.
And lastly, one of the things I want to point out, Aaron, again, of Rathrock and Pillars of Halak fame, has made a dice tray. Now, I don't know if anyone's seen his dice trays. I don't know, Matt, if you've gotten one of these, but I've been lucky enough to be gifted one. He made one out of ebony wood. Now, apparently, ebony wood is the most rare and expensive of hardwoods. Now, I don't know if you've seen the, was it the Wormwood, the licensed ones that PP has? Those are like $200 dice trays. They're nice. I've seen them. They look good. Aaron's stuff is like hands and what's the term? Hands and feet? No, anyways, I don't know what the saying is. There's a term. What is it, Matt?
Isn't it head and shoulders above?
Heads and shoulders. There we go. And knees and toes. Is that the what I'm going for here? I think Dallas is going to kill himself on mute. There's
quality of broadcasting.
I'm okay now.
And Danny, there's your opening. His dice trays are fantastic. I've not seen anything that even approaches the craftsmanship he does, and this is fantastic. So you can enter to win that tray. He also did a tray which he used 100-year-old reclaimed oak to make this tray. So this, like, we're talking like top-notch stuff, and that one you can actually win for raising funds. That I'll save that for next week. So a lot of excellent prizes. Check out the Battle for Breath Facebook page. I'll put links on our Facebook page. The raffle the draw is being held on Saturday, June 3rd. So if you're thinking about doing this, make sure you enter before that date. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. So there we go. I've just killed like half the podcast rambling on about my stuff.
Yeah, you only got like 10 minutes. It's fine.
Okay. I pared it down a bit.
So
hey, you're getting good.
So go check out the Battle for Breath. Go to the tournament, donate, do whatever you like. Let's help some people out. It was big last year. Let's make it bigger this year. I think it's gonna be great. All right, so moving on. The biggest thing in the news right now is that we have an update this week for the CID on a number of things. The pertinent one is going to be the War Wagon. We can address the other ones if we really feel like it. But the cool thing is this week was just a wording clarification for Crushing Weight. And it didn't really – it was a little muddy before, but now it's very specific in the way that it describes how the War Wagon can make impacts and infinite impacts in that way. So specifically, it states that first model impacted, do the impact attack. You can't make the same impact on the same model. But if you kill the model and move on, a model that has already been impacted in the half-inch melee can still be attacked with an additional impact and then killed, and so on. So it allows you to continue moving unabated, as it were, unless you don't, for some reason, kill the model, which is going to be kind of hard at POW 14 with 3 dice to hit. So Still really, really good, and this gives me a good feeling that I don't think the War Wagon's going to get a big change before the end of this week's CID, which is the final week for community development. Dallas hasn't really had a chance to weigh in much on the War Wagon here. Dallas, we put it up in the Facebook chat. You've had a chance to take a look at it. What do you think of how they've changed our beloved War Wagon?
Oh, the Facebook chat. Hold on.
Dallas is showing his age now.
I hate social media. I really do. Okay, hold on.
Wait a minute. Not being prepared's my shtick.
Facebook chat picture. Doink. Okay. So, first of all, I like where they're going with the damage boxes. I like how they've kind of changed the way that they want the War Wagon to function. Instead of mainly a ranged piece that can shoot, it's a melee piece that can, or excuse me, a ranged piece that can charge and attack. Now it's a melee piece that can also shoot a gun, which I love. The guns are still fantastic. Everything's good, but crushing weight, I still am amazed that it might actually make it through CID. If that's actually going to be a rule, the War Wagon's fantastic. I mean, fantastic. So I love it. I love that it's a construct. I love that it has Pathfinder. I love that we can use all kinds of good things on it with Line Breaker and crushing weight. It's just insane. It's just insane. Plus, we have reposition and all kinds of good things with like shooting gallery and stuff. I'm amazed, just amazed. I don't know how else to put it. Everything gets knocked out of its way except for other huge bases, so it's pretty freaking rad. I'm excited. I have one put together that's almost painted. It's like half painted, so clearly I need to buy a second one. So, what else do you need from me? Did I miss anything?
No, you're good. The only thing you kind of glossed over was ton of bricks, and that is that the charge attack on this model actually slams now. D3 inches directly away. Which you're only going to use if you don't have a ton of impact attacks to make, right? Mm. No, you're going to use it too. Yeah, I mean, basically the way that it's going to work is
goodness.
Like, you commit the War Wagon to kill a bunch of models right away, and then if they swarm it and fail to kill it, then you just choose a target over yonder and kill everything in its wake.
Oh,
and then once you get to the heavy or whatever that you got, you slam it away from you. Then you can.
The cool thing about it is, trolls. It's like digging out with other factions, even with my mercenary factions. I like to dig out the Warcaster and kill them. It's kind of hard to do that with trolls. You really like the attrition game, the way they play. You can't really dig a hole to their caster. With the War Wagon, you're more like plowing a hole to their caster, which it really opens up some very awesome assassination potential if you do it right. So I'm excited.
Yeah, you're just carving a flat spit.
It's only 16 points instead of 42.
Uh-huh. I mean, this thing is every bit worth its points now, and then some. I mean, it's 16 points for what you're getting, 38 boxes, like all the rules. It's just fucking insane. It's why we talked at length about it last week. Fraser, what do you think? Do you think they're actually going to pull it back and see what happens, or do you think they're going to let it slide?
I think that's been one of the caveats they've said, is that just because it clears CID doesn't guarantee that's what the final rules will be. So I'm kind of curious to see how it'll land. My only complaint is that Khador got it as well. So I wonder if we're just if they're just saying, "Oh, Khador's get it," we'll give it to trolls as well. So I would have liked to see the Khador one get pulled back and then ours not. But that's only slightly biased view.
Yeah, that'll happen.
To be honest, I see if it's going to happen, it's probably going to happen to them because one, they have better feats across faction than we do, that make that model really freaking crazy good.
Yeah, agreed.
Not only that, but I mean, why would you not take it in a faction where it fits in two themes?
Yep.
Like it's it's kind of nuts.
So I actually had a question. So we do have access to a way to repair it if we take the Goblin Tinker. Yeah, it's the Goblin Urinator.
I'm calling it the
for
Tinkler from now on.
Tinkler. Is it worth trying to repair him for not getting into the theme?
No, I don't think so. So the way that the Tinker functioned with the War Wagon in the past was that if the War Wagon got plinked by shooting, or if they committed, small models piecemeal, that you could have the model for more than a turn or so after it's been committed. Now its role is completely different. It's going to outpace the Tinker and be completely useless almost immediately in game. Once it charges, it's away from where it can even remotely do its ability on him. And then on top of that, just talking about the theme for a second, theme benefits are basically free points that are models that are more effective in their spot than the Tinker would be in the list outside of theme.
Okay.
So it just doesn't strike me as a useful strategy unless you're going to take a theme list with, or theme list with Madrak 1. Even then it doesn't work. The theme points are just so much better.
I was just thinking mechanically, because the extra boxes, the Tinker doesn't necessarily have to follow right behind. He can run a few turns to catch up. He'll be more survivable, but it's whether or not it's worth not taking in theme and getting those free points.
I don't know. We'll see where the theme falls. Right now, the only models that are like 100% certain in that list in my mind are War Wagon, Fire Eaters. The rest is sort of subjective, depending on which Warlock you're gonna do. But
what units do you bring other than Fire Eaters?
Stuff with guns.
No, I mean, so I like scattergun. I'm not scattergunners. I like sluggers.
You can bring sluggers. You can bring burrowers. You can bring pig.
I'm not bringing burrowers.
Yeah, you can bring bushwhackers. You can bring scattergunners.
Scattergunners might have something.
The limitation is it has to be a model with a gun.
Well, I'm just gonna bring 2 units of Fire Eaters and a unit of sluggers, and then my wagons. Right?
And your battle group is limited to models with guns as well.
Okay, so the Mountain King and some other stuff.
Yeah. It topples your beast points right there. Honestly, depending on which Warlock you go with, the Glacier King might even be a better option. Control-wise.
That's true, especially if you got a wagon or 2 up front doing the...
Yeah, exactly. Gunny or, perhaps Grim 2 or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go with the theme list specifically. But the wagons just fit so well into it right now with certain Warlocks. And I've got lists that are outside of the theme currently, designed to take advantage of the way the War Wagon is now. But
what medium-based solo is eligible? Just the Rune Bearer?
The Fellcaller? Yeah, the Fellcaller is the only one with a gun.
And
well, what about and the Northkin doesn't count because it's magic attack,
it's
right?
Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only ones with the guns
I'm okay with it being Fellcaller.
Yeah, it's Fellcaller and Braylon are the 2.
There's a gun in Sons of Brian.
Oh yeah, Braylon. Hello, she's my favorite solo.
Yeah,
but
and then
Sons of
technically
Brains count because only one of them has a gun.
It's the same clause as one pig guy being in the unit makes it a pig unit kind of situation. So.
Yeah, see, I put together a list. I was going to talk about games played that I played on Thursday. No, it was slightly illegal, but the gameplay didn't make a difference. I just moved Calandra too far up. But I had Calandra, a Mountain King. It was a bouncer, but in hindsight, it probably would have been a Storm Troll because I played it to Signar. It was a unit of sluggers, a full unit of highwaymen, and a... Mountain King, and then for the free units, I took Braylon and the Thumper because it was an all Jack Signar list, and for me it was all Jack, so I mean I didn't get a lot of work out of him, but the fear and the threat caused him to focus completely on the War Wagon just because they knew what he could do, and that set me up to just do a nasty charge with the Mountain King, take out his whatever the Storm Strider and one of his Thunderheads, and basically it was a good position to clean up. I hadn't feeded, so I would have had a whole bunch of shots from the Highwaymen and the Sluggers into Nemo 1, his caster, but I just had Calandra literally a quarter of an inch too high. too close to a jack, and that was what lost me the game. But
That's how I always lose with Calandra.
yeah, just that tiny little bit. But I didn't feel I was feeling, because I originally put the bouncer in there, and I said, "Oh, Earth's Blessing, it wouldn't have been knocked down. It would have been good." Then I realized, well, then that wouldn't have been in theme, and I would have been cheating horribly. So it was a good thing I lost.
Understood. That's an interesting thing. I had a game that was not CID. It was standard because I was teaching a friend. It did not go well for him. I played against Kruger 1. He had Pureblood, Getorix, Gorax, full unit of Skinwalkers, full unit of Reeves, Druid Wilder, and some other stuff. Trivial things. Against Borka 2 with Mountain King, Earthborn, and Mulg. Mostly battle group. I basically just bowled over one heavy, and then he didn't have a lot of retaliation against the Mountain King. Just Getorix can't close the deal by himself in that list without a lot more help, and so he just sort of futilely threw models into the Mountain King, and I felt kind of bad because it wasn't exactly a great learning experience for him. Moral of the story,
pain.
Stop taking the Mountain King against people that you want to teach the game, because that model's a little too good right now for that situation. But since we are still sort of talking CID, I was wondering if anybody else, now that we're sort of moving on, had lists that they were wanting to talk about with either theme or War Wagon the way that they exist now.
I'm kind of curious if anyone's got a double
Anybody?
War Wagon list, because that seems like it would be fun.
I haven't made a list
I do.
yet, but now that I have the theme force in front of me, I'm going to start working out a double War Wagon Glacier King list. Because I like the way that smells, especially with Hunter's Grim.
All right, here's my current list right now, as the War Wagon exists in CID. So we're looking at Jarl Skold, Runebearer, Mauler, Blitzer, double War Wagon, Fellcaller, full Fennblades, and Officer, Dunia Knot, 1 unit of Fire Eaters. There is all kind of movement shenanigans in the
and I love the puppet strings application in there.
Puppet strings application on the War Wagon's kind of really gross.
Yes, it
Not
is.
only that, but the quicken aspect of it is really, really gross. Like, Speed 9 War Wagon?
Speed 9 War Wagon's bonkers.
That's
Like, that is oh my god, that's 12 inches of death that just, like, you can't get away from. And then, like, Jarl's just, like, a boss back there. All he's doing is just, like, throwing out magic bullets. He's safe behind 2 huge bases. He can be wherever he wants. And then you could even just, like, throw a quicken on one of the wagons and just flank that mofo. War Wagon, 18 inches up the table, first turn, that is dumb. Like, your opponent has to do something about that. Otherwise, they're just going to get a freaking huge base in their backline, and, like, the game will go really bad from there. And the model as is doesn't need a lot of support. It's not going to get shot off the table unless your opponent redirects almost all of their forces to kill it at armor 19 and 38 boxes. Like, it's going to take a lot to take that model out. And then you got another one on the list. Like, there's mass model removal, great AoE, knockdown potential. You got Fire Eaters for good damage output, Fellcaller to make the fucking Fennblades. Like,
Dude, you have a disposable War Wagon that can just go mess stuff up.
yeah.
And I love it.
Well, let's not forget we also have the battle group too. So you've got a Mauler and a Blitzer. Like, if they've got a Colossal, you can take it out with both of those models. Not only that, but the Blitzer's gun and Bulldoze is crazy. Like, the Blitzer basically just clears models off of whatever gets engaged that's not a War Wagon, because, the War Wagon will just walk over. It doesn't really matter. He'll just go wherever he wants. So you've got a good gun, you've got a damage buff, and you've got Dunia Knot in the list for accuracy wherever you want it. Like,
It's beautiful.
it's pretty great. I don't even miss snipe. Like, I don't even care. Range 12 is perfectly fine when, your entire army is over the table and your entire army is up the table at the speed.
Yeah, you don't.
So that's my current list design on that one, and it's going to be fun. There may be some changes to it when we figure out exactly what happens with the point cost on the War Wagon, but as it stands, That's a lot of hurt in that list.
For 32 points.
Yeah. Oof.
My own.
What's kind of funny too, and go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, my thought about it is like I like the idea is having one where you basically run one up the flank, because most people keep their stuff behind. So if you can get past their first line, you can just wreak havoc. So they have to think about it. They have to be splitting things up. It's just whether or not you have enough beef with the second one to be able to take the blunt of their front line.
There's no if you get past the first front line. There's when you do. You can push right through it.
Yeah, I mean, if they just run models in your way,
oh yeah, they can't.
Like, then you just charge through their stuff. Yeah, it's unreal. And it's got dual attack. You can shoot and then charge, right? Or is that not the way that it works?
I think dual attack can't. You have to do your melee and then you do your initial shooting and then you buy. But with them, you don't buy.
I think you have to do your movement before your melee or your shooting. Is probably the way it works.
Okay.
It'd be awesome if it had run and gun. It's like, boom, blow everything out of the way and then go.
That would be pretty cool. But it's already pretty cool as it is.
It's not going to happen.
No.
It's pretty cool.
But then again, we said this way.
So that's my list. I maintain still that the way that it exists now is too good for the point cost. Make it a point more, probably fine. Maybe 2 points even, bring it back to where it is. But as it is, it's very, very efficient for its point cost. And it already found its way into lists for me. It's going to be in even more lists now. I mean, I've already started concepting lists for Crystal 1, for Gunny, for Grim 2. Grim 2 is going to be terrifying.
Grim 2 is going to be awesome. I like the way that smells.
The feat's ridiculous. Like, you do Grim 2 with Double Wagon, Dozer and Smig, Mortality, and, like, I don't know what doesn't just get knocked down and killed during that turn. Like, feat turns nuts.
Pretty near everything. It's
crazy.
Oof.
Oh, God.
Is mortality?
I mean, that's just the shooting aspect.
Just a spell?
We're not even talking about committing the wagons yet.
Say what, Fraser?
Is mortality a upkeep or is it just a spell?
It's just a spell.
So if you bring
you
a
hit
room
a
there,
5-inch
you can throw
pipe.
mortality.
Oh, not
twice.
mortality. You just.
I should look
What was
that
the
up. I
question?
have War Room in front of me, so.
Yeah. No, it's a range 10, cost 3. Model unit suffers -2 defense and armor, and cannot be healed and loses tough. So, yeah, kind of really good.
I need to play Grim 2 more often.
Yeah, you just got to get around using the Warlock unit rules. It's a little complicated sometimes the way that they have to activate. But yeah, like the shooting aspect of it is just, it's already really, really good, but you're not even talking about when you can commit the War Wagons. Like once the War Wagons like actually hit the lines, it's really hard to get them out of your lines without killing them.
Yep.
And by that time, I think Grimm's list has already taken a good chunk of your army out. I mean, if not, just killed a heavy outright. And then what have you got left to try and kill, 2 War Wagons?
Boy, that is nuts. I like the way that smells.
It's going to be good, man. I wish I had the list here. It's on my tablet, not on my phone. So I had a list worked up. But with Dozer and Smig, it has sluggers in it. It has a mauler, and it's got the War Wagons. So like it's a very similar theme to the Jarl list, where you do have a little bit of recourse for melee if you need to be, and then the shooting is just ridiculous. I mean, mortality itself is almost an extra damage buff. Like you lay mortality on like a colossal, the mauler will take a colossal out. Like, yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah, mortality is still one of my favorite Trollblood spells we've got.
Yeah, it's really great. I like it a lot.
Yep. That's all I have to say about that.
Anybody else got a list they want to talk about?
I haven't made one. I'm gonna make one. I'll post on Facebook.
You better make one.
And then I'll play the one I talked about earlier tomorrow. So hopefully I'll not go into an all Jack list where I don't get the same value if I'm going into a trip.
Yeah.
I'm gonna totally theme list it. I'm gonna try to theme list it. With the
Good luck with
kills
that.
thing.
Good luck with that. It's a little restrictive. I'm not a fan yet, We're gonna.
Well, I can bring all the units that I've been bringing all the time lately, anyways. So
True.
I've been bringing sluggers and Braylon in almost every list I build these days.
Ooh, Fraser.
Because Braylon's that good. Say it with me. Braylon's that good.
Braylon is that good.
She really is.
I'm still not
She's
convinced,
pretty
but I'm playing her, so I can't just say that I don't know. It doesn't look good on paper. I'm trying to actually try her out. So.
Gotta do the science, Fraser. Gotta do the science.
Yep.
No, Dallas is a little partial. His go-to character in IK is a female Trollkin with pistols. So.
That was just one game. Come on.
Right.
Hey, they don't have Trollkin gun mages in the actual tabletop game, okay? And my Trollkin field mechanic gun mage was red. That wasn't mine. Was that mine? That was Emmy's, wasn't it?
No,
It's been too long. It's been too long. I don't know what the crap I'm doing.
I just know you're partial. Yeah. We need to talk to your wife. Make sure that model is safe.
Hey, you know what? When you're gonna pretend to be something you're not, I'm not a chick. It's just something I'm not.
Or with long, lustrous hair.
I
hair.
do have fantastic hair. Let's be honest. It's pretty fabulous.
All right. Sorry, I distracted us.
Thanks for distracting.
Because that never happens any other time.
So, I have absolutely no idea what our main topic is, but Fraser has something shiny to show us while we figure it out.
Oh, I do. Oh, so this is I've discovered there's some things in Twitch I can do, not in Twitch, but in OBS. So I have a Battle for Breath commercial I'm going to play. So us listening won't hear it, but everyone out there and who are watching us on video will get to hear me do my horrible monster truck announcer voice.
Oh, good. So I can cut out from the audio because it'll be a moment of silence.
There we go. So here we go.
Oh, cute. Moment
Battle-
of silence.
Hang on. Well, that obviously didn't
So
look as good as it was supposed to. But I
Complete
will
failure.
post it on our Facebook page for those who didn't get to see it. We still have to talk about things painted. Did anyone do any painting this week?
No.
Oh, real quick.
Nope. I haven't painted since baseball started.
All right. I'm working up to the fact that I know I'm gonna have to paint another War Wagon here really soon. So I'm storing my energy for this event because if the War Wagon makes it out of the CID like it is, I'm gonna need to. I'm gonna have like 2 lists pairing for tournaments. Gonna have 4 huge bases in it. Double. Oh, here we go.
I love it.
Double Gargantuan, double War Wagon.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
This
I think
was
that's fantastic.
This is my.
For those listening, it's the Trollkin War Wagon that
Yes,
they're showing
I
off.
was going to go into it. It's my in-progress War Wagon where I can't give up my old 40k Orcs painting style where the red ones go faster. So it's red. It's going to get chipped to heck, so it looks like it's actually done a bunch of damage. And then I may even paint some plaid on there just to make it an eyesore to confuse people. But yeah, the War Wagon kit is so much fun to paint.
How are you doing the chipping? Are you doing like you lay down the silver and the copper colors underneath and then paint over it and then chip it?
No, that's way too. I tried that. I bought some of the chipping agent stuff and I didn't really like the effect because I use the sponge method. So I'll get a sponge from the model and just break it up in little chunks and then dab in a little bit of black paint and then dab a little bit of silver over top of it and just sort of catch the edges that I want to. So
I get behind using a sponge. That's a good idea.
And then I'll use some of the I picked this up from Schnauzer Face Minis who appeared a little while back. He takes a lot of the dry rust pigments and just brushes them on and lets them dry, and then just cleans them up with a Q-tip. So it'll look all rusty and such, which I've done on a few of my models that I like.
Seems good. In the past, way back when I painted Signar models, because I had Signar for a little while, I had used the layered method and then scraped off paint in places that I wanted. I got pretty reasonable results, but it was more work than I really wanted to do. The extra layers of paint was just a huge pain in the ass, and I really wish that I would have gone with a different way.
Yeah.
So.
I also find too, if you're doing anything that's not a larger scale model, getting the detail you want is difficult. I mean, if you're using either the chipping thing, or some people use the hairspray and salt, right? You'd paint your undercoat, put a little bit of salt.
That's hard to do on a small model, though.
And that's
really
what I found as well. For the bigger models, it kind of worked, but for this scale, it didn't. That's why I find that the dabbing.
I got to be honest with you. A good trick for smaller models, especially like Warjacks and like the War Wagon for rust, is a little bit of oil paint for your rust color.
Yep, agreed. Actually,
it goes a long way, because that oil paint you can dab it and drag, so you can dab it off of your the point that like the rivet or whatever that you're pulling from.
Agreed. Yeah, the oil base
and then drag, and as you drag it, the oil paint will separate. So whatever paint you have underneath it'll kind of show through.
And the nice thing too is you can go back
really
and touch it up a little bit later on too, because it takes like a day or two to dry. So if you're not quite happy with it,
yeah, oil paint takes a while to dry. So
the real question is, where the hell are you going to find oil paint anymore?
You can get in any hobby shop that has Civil War minis or
Michaels
or trains. See, Michaels, you can order it too. I think I ordered mine online. So
that's where I bought all mine, is for Michaels. So I think that was now it brings us to the main topic. And since Matt doesn't remember the conversation of what he wanted to talk about earlier this week, you had an epiphany looking at the Creel or the Fennblades. You went on your Fennblade. You don't remember what it was?
Oh man, look, somebody's gonna have to refresh my memory. I'm an old man and I work so much.
We talked about it a little bit. Basically, Fennblades are your go-to. They fill the list. I can't remember what you said about it specifically, but it was just like they were so easy to slot in, and they were, threatening and defensive, and just all around good. But
well, I mean, I've long insisted that I feel like they are the premier melee unit. I mean, in almost any faction, they fill a lot of slots. Like you just said, they have great threat range, good damage output, multiple attacks. They have lots of movement tech for them between the mini feat and vengeance. They're hard. They have an officer that gives them, the great stuff that just they sort of embody what trolls are about. Like, they're there to get in your face and do their job and be efficient without needing a lot of help, actually, which is kind of surprising for troll models. But they find their way into nearly any list for me. And I'm kind of interested in what you guys sort of go to as your staple for an infantry unit these days, or any unit. Like you go to a list and you're like, okay, I really want X in my list for whatever reason, and you invariably come back to a unit. Fraser, what have you sort of crutched on, I guess, is the best way to explain it.
Well, because I've been playing as much theme as possible, I find that especially it was when the two themes first came out, I played Power of Dunya more than anything, which really limits what you can take. So for the Ontario Team Champions, I brought a bunch of Rune Shapers, which I really quite enjoy, but they're expensive at 9 points for a unit of 3, so I wasn't as big of a fan of those. But you're really kind of limited to what you can pick in the theme. I've since expanded into doing a bit of Band of Heroes, based on our conversations with when Jason Flanzer was on the podcast and reading some of the stuff in the Facebook groups, where I was going back to the Fennblades, and I agree. I mean, if I have to have a unit in there that gets the work done, has that psychological, because that's for me is a lot of the things the players, when your opponents, when they say, oh yeah, this guy does this, like I've begin to realize that despite trolls not being like the top faction, we still have a number of units that people really have to think about and really have to worry about, and Fennblades is definitely one of those. When I can play whatever I want, I'm getting back into playing that because I can play Fire Eaters again. I like what I can do with the Fire Eaters. Again, it's that psychological. It's enough to just, if you put them out there, people feel they have to deal with it and you use them as a distraction. I really want scattergunners to be good. I've been paying the models. I love them. I want a list that I can pull off. My fun list for the Sioux needs a bit of tweaking. But I don't have an immediate go-to because I'm still trying to feel, I'm to the point now where I'm getting more comfortable with the faction where I'm willing to go outside of my comfort area and try different things. Like I played Sluggers with that Calandra list. I never played Sluggers before. Same with the Highwaymen. Understood.
Dallas, your list building has been sort of spotty lately. What are your thoughts on this one?
Spotty, shut up. So personally, I ever since Mark III, I've tried to try all of the units, and really I keep falling back on Sluggers and Fire Eaters. I just think because I like to bring huge bases and I like to sink a bunch of points into War Beasts. I don't have a lot of room for units and solos, and so I tend to bring ones that I'm comfortable with, if that makes any sense. And for me, I have had nothing but good things happen with Sluggers. They're just, you have so many other ways to threaten them that they can't do anything about the Sluggers. And just the way they work these days is you can aim and get D3 shots and just sit back and they get the work done for me. So for me, sluggers all day long, and then Fire Eaters, all that stuff in front. But yeah, truly, sluggers all the way.
That's interesting how varied the play styles are across the board here for everybody and what they reach for. So more to the point, and I finally remembered my point, is this is sort of an exercise in the meta that we exist in and in the era of pre-measuring where threat is basically king. With trolls and infantry choices, when do you not take Fennblades? They're just so effective at their job. If you want to have a competitive list, when do you not take Fennblades?
In almost every list I play, I don't bring Fennblades.
Or if your theme doesn't let you take them. Although I say that they're very appropriate in certain lists, and for certain. I'll take it back. At least one of my two lists will have Fennblades in them. If I'm playing in a tournament competitively, one of the two will. The other one will be my beast heavy list.
I'd say that's fair. But let's dig a little deeper than just that. Like, yeah, you want infantry and you want, a lot of model clear, but there's very little in our faction that has the kind of board control that just the unit has, like its presence on the board. Like, you've got great speed, you've got great threat range. I think we we charge farther than almost anybody else unbuffed, and that is not me. Whatever that noise is, I have nothing going on in the background of my house right now. Danny, are you picking that up?
It's not me. I'm muted.
Mute yourself, Matt.
We were getting some weird scraping in the background, and I know it's not me because I don't have anything happening in the background of my house right now. So,
and I was picking it up, and I only hear you guys. I don't hear myself.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
I don't know. Everybody's mics were muted too, and I wasn't getting anything.
It's gone now. So.
Is that what that is?
Dan can edit that out.
I mean, Dan's at work. Somebody using a compressor there, Dan?
He's muted. See, he's talking. We can't hear him.
No, I'm dumb. I muted and I was like, yeah, there is a vacuum.
Oh, nice. Well, that would explain that.
No, it is a compressor. I was hearing some sort of weird feedback audio, but that's also gone. So.
All right.
Please continue with your regularly scheduled program.
knew what we were doing.
Which is absolutely nothing.
So, back to the point. Fennblades occupy a space in our faction where their sheer board presence makes them dominant as a list choice over a lot of other options. And they're inexpensive for how many models and how many attacks they get. The only thing that comes close, I think, is Fire Eaters, who also do a very similar thing to Fennblades because they're at 1 AD, and 2, they have a huge charge range with Assault. So are there any other models that like you feel like fit that? I don't even think Long Riders have the same effect on the field that Fennblades have right now.
Long Riders can pull it off, but there's only 5 of them. There's only 3 or 5 of them. Where with Fennblades, you've got 13 or 12. You got a dozen. Plus, if you bring the solo, which I love the solo. I have a really cool painted one too. My solo is really rad looking. That guy's awesome. Anyways, but I like him. The application's good, and the threat's amazing. Again, I don't always have place in them, a place for him in my super beast heavy lists. And maybe I just need to bring one less beast and throw in the Fennblades. But I don't know.
It's possible. Fraser, you've not had as much experience with Fennblades, even in the past, so maybe you're not like clinging to the old days of Mark II for them. What's your opinion on their sort of place in the faction?
No, I think they're like sort of regroup myself here. My wife's been talking to me, so I've been slightly distracted. To throw her under the bus for this one. Sorry. I've played Fennblades more in Mark III than I ever did in Mark II. They definitely have a place. I have a couple lists. I really like them. If you want to get something up the board quickly. I'm beginning to appreciate the psychological effect of some of these models, like I've said before. But with Vengeance and with the mini feat and getting the Pathfinder, they're so versatile. They can get you where you need to be quickly. They can on a charge, if you can keep them under the stone, they go up to what do they go up to? They're normally pound strength 12, so they go up to 13. So on that charge, even if you just throw them in to shave off the front line or a few key pieces, they can do enough damage with reach to go in and do significant damage to a heavy and not necessarily take it out, but you can do more. And that's something that I only had epiphany on recently, where they actually have, as good as I thought they were before, I think I've realized that if you're willing to sacrifice them or hit the peace treat is to your advantage, you can send them in on something bigger and do significant damage. So I think they're even more versatile than I was even realizing to begin with.
Yeah, and to be perfectly clear, 12 POW 12 on reach weapons is not trivial, not at all.
No, absolutely.
Especially where we exist in a world where Armor 17 heavies exist. You put a map buff on Fennblades, Fellcaller plus the Kithkar.
Oh yes,
they're sitting at they're sitting at fucking mat 9. Like they're gonna hit. I would wager if somebody were to math it, you could probably kill a standard Warpwolf with 5 to 6 Fennblades at that rate, charging.
Well, clearly I'm doing on a spreadsheet tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Dallas has homework.
I'll just plug it in. I actually have a template all made up already. So
they're so versatile. And then don't forget the cleave. Like even if you kill a model, they just get another attack. Yep. It's just good across the board. Yep. Like very, very good. My God, Danny has a flip phone. This is crazy.
Oh my God, it's the 90s all over again.
Sorry. Sidebar here. Anyway.
And here we were giving Fraser a hard time about being old.
Well, that was deserved. I do fall
the
in that
youngest
category.
one of the 4 of us, and you have a flip phone? My goodness.
All right, so
it's working
back
clearly.
to the psychological effect. I actually like that a lot, and I've used that in the past to sort of psych my opponents out. Fire Eaters are actually probably have the most deep psychological effect on my opponents because they're just like, oh God, I have to not be within 15 inches of those models. That is
and they still, even when you play against an experienced opponent, they still kind of go out of their way to they kind of overcommit on the Fire Eaters, and that lets your Fennblades or Sluggers or whatever else you have just clean up whatever they've overcommitted. It's fabulous.
Yeah. Well, my game against Red at the Sioux, the guy wouldn't even touch my Fennblades the first turn because he didn't want to trigger Vengeance. He shot everything around him.
That actually another interesting psychological effect. Is a very damned if you do, damned if you don't. They're fast enough to get there in almost every way, but if you don't take out enough of them, they're just going to do egregious damage to your front line of models.
Yep.
POW 12 will take out most infantry on average dice. Heavy infantry will take a huge loss on charges with POW 12.
Exactly.
That's before any buffs. So there really is a lot to consider. And if your opponent if he ignores the Fennblades, that's usually not the right choice.
No.
If he kills too many of them, or if he kills too few of them, like I'll usually dangle 2 or 3 maybe out front to see if he wants to waste shooting on models and then keep the others, 2 or 3 inches back just outside of range. Be like, here, sure, go ahead and kill this. I'm letting you do it. It's fine. I'm hoping that I don't tough. Well, it doesn't matter anymore now that they're damaged. They always get vengeance. So
yeah.
In the past, it was that way. But it's just there's an interesting psychological effect. Like, like being able to put a model in your opponent's threat range and say, go ahead and kill this is a very powerful tool for your army.
Now, do you ever see...
It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah. Do you ever see a case where you want to bring 2 units?
No.
Now that you can bring them with UA, yes. I can see a few ways that you'd want to do that. Think about Gristle 1. Like,
dude, nobody plays Gristle 1 competitively. Knock it off.
3 power 12 attacks with model. That's a lot of attacks. Like,
3 if you kill 3 if you get it cleave.
Yeah, exactly. Which is really not that hard to do.
That's true. But
honestly, they're fast enough. They have good enough output. Anybody who buffs them would make a good point for taking them.
And if you're a jerk,
because then you basically have one unit that just kills a heavy with a damage buff, and then it doesn't matter what it does after that. And then the other unit goes after their infantry. And then you've got enough of them that if your opponent actually dedicates shooting to the unit, they're kind of like intentionally shooting themselves in the foot. Like, let's just make fucking 24 models faster right now. That seems like a great idea.
And of course, when you lay them out, you line them up at the beginning of the game. You intermix them so they don't know which one is which. So they shoot. I'll just shoot 2, and they shoot 1 from each unit, and then you vengeance both of them.
Don't forget the rules as written now. They need to be visually distinct enough that your opponent can tell them apart, or they need to be labeled.
Yes, I have much like my rune shapers. The different units have different colored tartan. So there is a clear way, and I always call it out to my opponent to let them know this is one unit, this is the other. I'm not a jerk like that.
I think there is a place for 2 units of Fennblades. They're good enough that having more than 1 unit would be useful. I don't know that the meta warrants it right now. It might once the new steamroller hits and things change. Don't underestimate too what a footprint like that unit has. Like it's literally half the table that you can occupy without problem. So
with the new steamroller, with the fact that some of those scenarios are definitely advantageous to troops, that definitely would be a unit that could definitely cause some issues for your opponent.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of ways of making Fennblades even more obnoxious. I mean, Gristle 1, Jarl, Gristle 2. Gristle 2 actually makes Fennblades really annoying. Like, not having to worry about free strikes and being a speed 7 model makes Fennblades, like, kind of dumb.
I had so much fun when I played into Khador and just went into the back line of this line of Iron Fang pikemen and just said, look, I get to run right through you, and just managed to take out almost all of them on one time. It was glorious. Sorry, I get a little excited at that one.
No, it's good. I mean, there's just a lot of things that you can do with them. And, going forward, I think that you're going to see infantry start to pop back in, and Fennblades are going to be the premier choice. They're so good. I just think that they're always worth considering in a 2-list pair, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Dallas, final thoughts?
I like sluggers.
I know you like sluggers. I love sluggers. I used sluggers back in Mark II when they weren't that good.
So did I. Having used them a lot before versus what they are, the way they work now is I think how they should have worked in Mark II, and they just for me they just seem to get the job done. Plus, to put it into the words of one of my local players, you can just see the opposing army trying to deal with this giant freaking mountain troll in their faces with the constant staccato of a machine gun in the background, making it so that they can't stick their head out or they'll die. Really would be overwhelming for a lowly winter guard going, okay, I'm going to shoot that guy now.
Not a good idea. Not a good idea.
So, yep, I like it. I like the way it smells.
All right, so final thoughts here, at least from me. War Wagon's busted. If it stays like it is, go buy a second one and play the shit out of that model because it's way too good.
If it doesn't stay how it is, hold off and see how the rules turn out.
Yeah, honestly, even if they dial it back just a teensy bit, I think with the health boxes alone, it warrants considering.
Well, if it's cheaper
in a lot of lists.
If they left it as it was, made it 2 points cheaper, and gave it the health boxes, that by itself would be glorious.
Yep.
So I think there's some good potential there.
Now it's just better.
So I jump in there. Number one, Dallas, how did it go with Chuck Norris? And did you learn? I like how that smells from him. Because
no, but Chuck Norris is a fabulous individual, and I feel very fortunate to be able to see him off and on from time to time at work. Because for those of you that don't know, because he just threw that in there, the company that I work for gives away a vehicle and a boat or something like that every year. Last year we did a Mad Max truck that was amazing. This year we had the Diesel Brothers, because they're located here in Utah, make a Chuck Norris truck for us. We brought Chuck in, and he picked the truck out and had a hand in the design. And so he's helping promote the truck, and we're selling his water at our stores. And so we've got to we get to hang with Chuck a little bit. Anyways, I'm not in marketing, so I don't get to hang with him all the time. But it's pretty cool to like just see him and say, "Hey man, how's it going?" And he'll go, "Hey Dallas, what's up?" Just kind of cool. Chuck Norris.
Oh, that needs to be made into a t-shirt.
Cool.
I think what's even more poignant about this topic is that Dallas is an old school World of Warcraft player. So it's even more appropriate that he gets to hang out with Chuck Norris as that.
I played World of Warcraft. I was an alpha beta tester for World of Warcraft.
That was the birth of Chuck Norris memes.
Yeah.
Like, was World of Warcraft.
So, I have on my wall some a signed picture from David Prowse, and very soon next to it will be a signed picture of Chuck Norris, which is pretty cool in a nerd gamer's world to have Darth Vader and Chuck Norris both signed on your wall. So
nice.
Yeah,
Indeed.
lucky. Sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know, and I just happen to be in the right place at the right time for this one.
You just need to get close enough to steal some of the chest hair there, Dallas, next time.
Dude, just so you know, he's old now. But at our trade show, he rappelled out of the rafters of
course he did.
the Maverick Center. And the way he moves and carries himself, you know, he could just whoop you. He could just kick you up one side and down the other. Wouldn't even be close. He could. There's not very many guys, even at his age, that could stand up to Chuck Norris.
I mean, he's got the total gym, so
he still sells it too.
Alrighty. And on that bombshell, this has been the Scrumcast signing off.
Thanks for bringing that up, Dan. Thanks.
You had to be able to talk about it. I mean, it's